All right, folks, welcome to 90.9, the quadratic for your Algebra 2 pre-test answers. Guys, your test tomorrow, 55 questions. I believe there's 150 points. I will grade it out of 135. You can possibly get a 111.1% if you got everything right. So it's a good way to end the third quarter. All right, here are the answers for 1 through 3. Again, I'm going to quickly go through. Good job to Chris from 6th hour here for getting a number 3, correcting my number 3 here. All right, so again, just take a look at the answers for 1 through 3, then 4 through 6. Hopefully the work was shown well on those. It's got to be a quick video so I can get it up there quick enough. 7 through 10, guys, set what's inside the square root equal to 0 for the domain. If you have a positive x, it's greater than or equal to. If you have a negative x like you do have 9, like you do on 9, it's less than or equal to. All right. The range is always involved with that number on the outside. It's always going to be greater than or equal to unless you have a negative square root like you do in 10. That's where you get less than or equal to this number. All right, so moving on here. Let's see, number 11, guys. You just evaluate twice. Evaluate g of 3 first. Plug 3 in for x right there, and then whatever you get, plug it in for x in the f equation. All right, there's your answers for 11 through 13. Moving on, 14 through 16 right here. Again, pause this if you need to see more work shown, or if you need to, copy down the work, need to correct something. All right, 17 through 19, there is your answers. That should be an easy page. That page is not that bad. This is where it gets to be a little bit more tricky. Remember, guys, f of x and y are the same thing here. So y equals 2x minus 7. I'm literally not naming it. I'm just giving it like a different nickname. It's the same thing, though. Then you switch x and y. So now I have x equals 2y minus 7, and I look to solve for that y. Add 7 to both sides, then divide by 2. Same thing on 21. Instead of writing y equals x minus 3 over 6, x and y switch, you have x equals y minus 3 over 6. Multiply by 6 and add 3 to both sides. There's the answer for 22. 22 takes a little bit more work, all right? Switch x and y, then add 2 to both sides. Then you're going to square both sides and subtract 7. All right, remember, guys, the opposite of taking the square root is squaring something. The opposite of squaring something is taking the square roots. Inverse functions, their answers have opposite operations. All right, guys, 24 through 27, everything comes out cleanly. All right. Again, when there's no number on the outside, that's a 2. You're taking the second root. We haven't really had any issues with 24 through 27 types. 6-4 was an easy section for us. Then coming from 6-5 here, so we have things left over, all right? And when we have things left over and it's not the square root, make sure, like on 31, the little 5, that's going to cost you 1/10 of a point. If not, make sure the 5 is up there. All right, again, pause this anytime you need. There's the answer for 32. You multiply what's on the outside together and what's on the inside together, and you're taking the second root. 2 goes into 10 5 times for the x. 2 goes into 4 twice for the y. 33 comes out nicely. There's a jailbreak. Guys, you're just going to FOIL. You can multiply things that are inside the roots with each other, like root 3 and root 2 to get root 6. And you can multiply numbers on the outside together, like 2 times 7 gives you 14 with the root 3. Obviously, 6 times 6 gives you 42. 35, you have conjugates. 7, 7, root 2, opposite signs in between. So all you have to do is the first and the last part of FOIL. Root 2 times root 2 is root 4, which is 2. You're squaring a square root. Now, should be pretty easy. Well, 36, you're breaking them down. You got a bunch of root 5s, 9 root 5. Break down root 32, it's 4 root 2, minus 3 root 2 is just a regular root 2. And take a look at 38. You need to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. This is also one of the harder ones. Multiply top and bottom by root 6 plus 2. You get 4 root 6 plus 4 times 2 is 8. Root 6 times root 6. Again, you just needed the first and last part of FOIL. Root 6 times root 6 and 2 times 2. All right. Again, right here, root 6 times root 6 and 2 times 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. Again, you can write your answer like that. Everything's divisible by 2. But that 6 on the inside in jail doesn't get messed with. Guys, you're always taking the denominator root, the denominator root, the denominator root, the denominator root of x to the numerator, of x squared, of x to the third, of x to the first, of x to the second. And going backwards here, if you're taking the third root, 3's in the denominator, that 8 is your numerator. Guys, if there's no number on the outside, put a 2. You're taking the second root. This is x to the 5 halves. No, if there's no exponent, it means it's 1. X to the 1/4, x to the 5 thirds. All right? When you multiply with the same base, you add the exponents. Everything can add up nicely in 47. 10, so it's x to the 10/7. Everything adds up pretty nicely in 48. X to the 8/3. You're going to subtract. So you're going to do 7 minus 2, which is 5. 5 over 5 is 1. That's x to the 1st. This is the inception style problem. Take the square root of 16 first. That's 4. Then take the square root of that. Boom, 2. And finally, the last page, you're solving square root equations. You're ready to square both sides. When you square root, everything drops out. Guys, on 52, you need to subtract 1 first, then you can square both sides. You're not going to square, you're going to cube in 53 to get your answer. Subtract 4 first. Guys, the 1/2 power is the square root, so just raise everything to the reciprocal power, raise everything to the seconds. Get a nice answer there. On 55, add 2 to both sides first, and you got this 3 on the outside, divide it away. So then 55 looks almost identical to 51, square both sides. Get your answer. Subtract 2 first and then divide by 6. Square both sides. Get your answer. All right, folks, this is what your test looks like. Again, a great opportunity for some good grades tomorrow. This is 90.9 The Quadratic, signing out.